Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Family Sedan channel. Got a few topics to share with you in this latest room temperature jam. The community, the XRP community, has been discussing the idea of the SEC v. Ripple case ending by the end of April. So I want to share with you a little bit of perspective from that. I've got some comments also from attorney Jeremy Hogan that are brand spanking new. And one of the things that he was asked by the Fox Business journalist had to do with the idea of, okay, what are the odds that we're going to get a ruling in terms of summary judgment without, there being regulatory clarity. Then there was also attorney John Deaton. I'm going to share with you his latest pushback against Kim Jong-Gensler, because you may have heard at this point, and I've mentioned on the channel at least a couple times, that Gary Gensler, previously shilled a couple different cryptocurrencies, and the SEC is now naming those cryptocurrencies as securities in a lawsuit against Bittrex, cryptocurrency exchange Bittrex, which, by the way, is leaving the United States due to a lack of regulatory clarity. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a legal or financial background of any kind. I am not offering legal or financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. Now, as far as when this lawsuit is finally going to end, I don't pretend to know. I mean, obviously, in terms of preparing the final ruling, I think it's pretty fair to assume that it's probably well underway at this point. If it's not completely finished at this point, but I'm sure there's a lot of, I's to dot, T's to cross, all that crap. And it's also such a major ruling. I wouldn't be surprised if Judge Torres really takes her sweet time in getting this damn thing out. But that said, I'll just remind you of something Attorney Deaton said within the last few weeks or so, which is that if Judge Torres is going to stay in line, in terms of consistency of how long it takes to get rulings out, Attorney Deaton noted that we would need to see the ruling come out no later than May 6th. So he wasn't predicting that's what would happen. He was just noting, hey, if Judge Torres is going to behave, in the same way she had in previous cases, then by May 6th, yes, we're going to have a ruling. So the idea of it happening by then is completely plausible. But again, this might be the biggest damn thing that she has ever ruled on. And, if she doesn't get this one right, the amount of chaos that's going to result in the world of crypto and all the appeals that follow, I'm pretty damn sure she understands that this is a monstrous deal. So if it does end up taking a bit longer than that, okay, that's as long as I just want to make sure she gets this damn thing right. I want this over just as much as the next guy. But what's more important is just making sure that she gets this right. And then there's an XRP community member named Ashley Prosper who tweeted out the following a couple days ago. The next week is going to be a very interesting week. Come April 27th, we will have been waiting 52 days from when Judge Torres ruled on the Daubert motions. This interests me because it took Judge Torres 52 days to decide the Daubert motions. So, this idea that because the Daubert motions took that long that the summary judgment would too, well, I'm kind of skeptical of that. Fair enough to theorize. It's reasonable to speculate, but my supposition would be that perhaps both were being worked on simultaneously. And so the rulings on the Daubert motions, which had to do with all the expert witnesses, which is a major win for Ripple, by the way, you may recall, that came down at the beginning part of March. But that doesn't mean that she wasn't simultaneously preparing the final ruling in terms of summary judgment. And that bad boy, it may just be in draft format at this moment, but I bet it exists. There are actually people out there that know the way that things are going now. So, and it's subject to change technically until it's actually officially ruled on. But I think Judge Torres knows what she's doing. We just have to sit here and patiently wait. And then somebody named Mark in the community tweeted out, do judges make a verdict on weekends or limit it on weekdays? And Attorney Hogan actually did respond, and he said, a judge can issue a ruling anytime, even on a weekend. So if you've ever been wondering, okay, it's Saturday or it's Sunday, could we actually get a ruling today? The answer is yes. And as I record this, it is Sunday. So doesn't mean we're going to get a ruling today specifically, but it is actually possible. And then somebody else responded to Hogan there and said, "Sir, in Europe, the judge informs the parties the judgment is ready and is handed down in court. In U.S., it is simply posted up without notice to the parties?" Question mark. And Attorney Hogan responded and said, "Yes, no special notice." So just when it's filed, and that's why I think so many in the community are just counting on learning about the ruling being issued from Attorney Filan, who I'm sure most of you are familiar with at this point, who for roughly 2 years now has been consistently sharing all the filings in the SEC v. Ripple case as they've come on out. So I think most of us are probably counting on that being the first place we're going to hear it, if we're on Twitter anyway. Other than that, you're just going to be seeing headlines. They'll be popping up, obviously, even in mainstream media. So you're going to find out. You're not going to be able to evade that unless you're refusing to look at social media or news sources. Yeah, you're going to know. And then there was also this clip they're shared by DAI, and it's of Lilia Tesler, who's an attorney, and she was speaking at a blockchain event. And Lilia, I hope I'm saying that right, Lilia Tesler, in addition to being an attorney, she also represented the Chamber for Digital Commerce, and so she is the one that drafted and created the final version too, of course, of the amicus brief that was ultimately filed in the SEC v. Ripple case. And so I don't need to go through the 3-minute clip, but I'll just note that what she was articulating, the key piece of this, was that there is no precedent for secondary market transactions of XRP or any crypto to end up being investment contracts. And we know, we've been following the case, and we've known this for some time, but she's pointing out it literally just isn't the case. And so XRP itself couldn't be a security. It makes no logical sense. And look, I've been saying for a long time, Gary Gensler knows that. The attorneys at the SEC know that, but they don't want clarity, obviously. And DAI noted that by writing the following. He is hitting the nail on the head here. He said, "The oranges themselves were never securities, and neither are secondary market sales. And Gary knows this." Exactly. Well, that's why I'm so repulsed by Gary. One of the reasons. He knows that this is the case, and they could easily come out and clarify this just so that there's no question, because it actually is impacting speculators. It's impacting businesses, but he's not doing that. Eleanor Turret, Fox Business journalist, retweeted that and said, "From a legal perspective, I don't know how likely it is that the court would wait for regulatory clarity to decide summary judgment. Because no one in Washington can agree, the court should set that precedent and regulators can follow." Yeah, and that's what I'm hoping. That's why I'm hoping that Judge Torres, when the ruling comes out, she says some very explicit things about XRP and its actual status as a non-security, at a bare minimum, stating that secondary market transactions are not investment contracts. We need that, because she must know at this point that Congress isn't doing a damn thing to help things out here, and the SEC is not operating in good faith. So, is what it is. And then Attorney Hogan responded to Eleanor Turret, and he said, "You do sometimes see appellate courts wait for legislation prior to deciding an issue, but that is rare, and I don't think it ever occurs at the trial court level." Yeah, so this hadn't even been on my radar, and this idea of, Judge Torres waiting for, it would never come. You know what I mean? So in terms of clarity, so at least we don't have to worry about that, I don't think. But it'll be coming soon enough. And then there's this. And again, I've talked about this a little bit, but I want to share with you Attorney John Deaton's latest efforts on this front. So here's a headline from Blockchain Daily. Gary Gensler's rug pull, promoting Algorand, then filing suit against them. And so Gary Gensler has been on camera on more than one occasion shilling cryptocurrency Algorand, which I happen to hold. And I've been saying for a long, long time, I'm very concerned about what happens to XRP as a holder of XRP, especially here in the United States. I don't know if we're going to get terrible rulings, and it's going to financially harm all of us here holding XRP, especially in the United States. But I've also long said I'm additionally concerned about all of the other roughly 30 different cryptocurrencies I hold, because I don't know which one Kim Jong-Genslers is going to attack next. And he's in the most recent filing, I believe it was 6 cryptocurrencies that the SEC cited as securities that Bittrex was offering for trade. And 2 of the 6 I hold, which would be Algorand and Dash. I hold both of those. and I've held them for years. So this is extra infuriating because Kim Jong-Gensler has been shilling been shilling Algorand. And so check this out, this piece from Blockchain Daily. They wrote the following. In a past speech, Gensler lauded the potential of Algorand's technology, saying, quote, "You could create Uber or Lyft on top of a blockchain technology today. Well, maybe in 5 years you could. It would have the performance. Silvio Micali's Algorand, who's a Turing Award winner at MIT that I work with. Silvio's got a great technology that has performance. You could create Uber on top of it," end quote. So years ago, this is back before Kim Jong-Gensler was running the SEC as the dictator, he was talking about the great benefits of Algorand and how this could really have some major implications from a business perspective, not talking about how it's security or illegal transactions, just praising it, shilling it. Well, Attorney John Deaton ended up sharing that article, and he wrote the following because he's calling on the community to work together, as our community has been for years. And the latest effort here is to find additional evidence of Gary Gensler shilling Algorand. And I'm sure there's more yet to be uncovered. So here's what Attorney Deaton tweeted out. And I love this. Just going after Gensler, in every possible way that he can, which is well-deserved. And John Deaton says, "If you can find any video of Gensler discussing algo in a positive way, please reply tagging me with the video clip. Same thing with any speech or comment that he's made portraying anything to do with algo in a positive manner. I've seen one video, but are there others? The same goes for any other token he's publicly praised without qualifying them as securities. Before he was chairman of the SEC and sent to crush any disruptor or challenger to his incumbent pals." And so our community has long worked together. As you may recall, Brad Garlinghouse using the term Twitter sleuths to, in terms of identifying the people in our community, our XRP community, that have found all sorts of interesting evidence, including all sorts of video clips from past statements that go against SEC arguments, so on and so forth, all sorts of stuff like that. So there has been more of this, and there are a bunch of people. It was just nice to see sharing all sorts of stuff. So there have been since then additional things that have been found. And then there was also this tweet from somebody who goes by the name Ghostin, if I'm saying that right. And he shared a short video clip of Kim Jong-Gensler, and he wrote, "Here's a video of Gensler stating that 3/4 of the crypto space is classified by the SEC as a commodity, not a security." And that was a fun clip. And indeed, he did state that. So back before he was running the SEC as dictator, he said, "Oh yeah, it's almost everything's a commodity." And now what does he say? Now he says everything is a security except Bitcoin. Talk about a flip. There's no way that's intellectually honest. I mean, people can change their opinions, but come on, man. You ain't gonna sell me that. Oh, what a crazy world we live in. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the Moon Family Sedan.